Karen here, and it is time to make the 8th card in the series of nesting die layouts. Now this time around, we are going to use one piece of 12 by 12 paper, just like this, to make the whole entire card. Sometimes I'm using the front side, and it's double-sided, so sometimes I will be using the back side. But we're going to use one sheet of paper, except for the card base. So to get started, I have a 5 by 7 card base, which this time around, I'm using watercolor paper. I didn't want a stark white card base for this one, so I decided to use my watercolor paper because it is a slight cream color, and I just thought it looked better with these papers. So I have a 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I have a 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 print, and these prints came from the Crafter's Companion Vintage Diary Set. Alright, so we also have some little pearls here, and these are the other pieces. I've cut out most of the pieces for the front since it's going to be repetitive, and I wanted to get them all cut out. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to take the 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and I want to decide where I want to cut this out. Now what I think I want to do is I want to make sure the space here on the top and the space here on the side are the same. Like that. So I'm going to tape this down and cut this out. Now before I get carried away and cut that out, I want to make sure that my pieces are going to fit here. So let me look here, move that tape. And yes, I have enough room to put this here. Alright, so let's get this cut out. Alright, so the nesting die that I've used here is the 9th one from the inside, or 3 from the largest one. And I wanted to do it to make sure I got this flower here, because we're going to be using that flower. Alright, so let's move our folder out of the way. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is get this attached. So this is going to be like this, up on foam, and then this is going to sit in here, but attached to the card. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to use the Collall glue again, because that does take a second to set up, and so it will give me time to get this all centered. So I'm going to take this piece out, and we're going to get this centered where I want it, and I'm going to tape it down. Just so it doesn't go wiggling on me. Just like that. So now I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. Let me open the glue first, that might help. And I'm going to put this right back in the opening so it will be all lined up. That's where I need it. Right there. Alright, now I'm going to take the tape off of here. Pull this up. And I'm going to take some skinny tape. This is a 1/4 inch wide, and it's 1/16 of an inch thick. And I'm going to put it around this frame. So we're going to go across the top. Scissors. Now I'm not going to put a shaker or anything in here, so I don't have to worry about it being completely sealed. But I do want this supported. Now coming down this side, I got really close, so I may have to not go all the way around here, but it will be fine. I'll start again here and come down. Let me make sure it's not peeking through here, which it is. So let me just peel this back a little bit and snip this off. Cut that at an angle. There we go. Alright, so I also have this 1/2 inch foam that is also 1/16 thick. So I'm just going to put this on the rest of it. Okay, this really wants to curl up on me today. And I'll put another piece down here. I just want to make sure this is all nice and supported, like that. Alright, now we'll take off all the paper. Now I'm going to turn this sideways so I can see it a little bit better. I am going to line this up. There we go. So now all the writing is lined up, but it gives you a nice little recessed effect here. Now you could absolutely put this on thicker foam if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it like that. I just wanted a little bit of an effect there. Now I was thinking I would go down the side here with the 2 smallest nesting die pieces, and what I've done is I've glued them together and put a little pearl on top. And I think we're going to need about 5 of these, because I'm going to put them this direction. So there's 3, here's 4, and 5 will be down here, like that. And it's really hard to see. Let me get this a little closer. There we go. Move that in a little bit more so you can see. That's what we're going to have. So to put this together, I have the second die from the center, and I have one of the teeny tiny smallest dies that were in here. Because this set, let's pull this in again. Recall that this has 12 pieces that goes from 4 by 6 down to this teeny tiny little one. Alright, so I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together. Just put a little bit of glue in the back here. Line this up in the middle. Now I noticed with these 2, the end of this first little bit of stitching here lines up with where you would put it to make it centered. There we go. Like that. Let me get one of the pearls and take one of these off, and we'll put a little dab of glue on here. And I'll put this in the center. There you go, just like that. Alright, so this 5th one will go down here. So let's go ahead and get all these glued on. So I'm going to start with the 2 on the ends and then work my way toward the center. There. And I'm going to turn this sideways so I can see it a little bit better. Now I'll put the one in the middle. About there. And then I will put the other on either side. Alright, now for the front here, I have a happy birthday. Birthday wishes. Now, here again, it's the same paper. I printed it right on this paper, and I did it ahead of time because I wasn't sure if it was going to dry on here. This paper doesn't have a coating on it, but I still wanted to double check. And I did use quick dry ink, and that worked just fine. So we have a couple choices here. We can either go the light color for both, or we can go print. So let's see what this looks like. So this is the print, or we'll go cream on cream. I'm leaning toward the cream on cream because it matches down this side here. But I do want to put this on foam. And this will go in the middle. Like that. Then I will glue this on. Now I am going to line up this die here, this cutout here with this line here, because to do this part, I used 3 and 4. So this one here was the 9th largest die, and this one was the 4th, but what I've noticed is, when you put these next to each other, I'll hold it up here, this line here is about the same length as this here, so that's why I chose those. So this is going to go in the middle here. Right, so now we have this. Alright, so now we're going to put this on the card front. You can see this was the solid paper and the print is on the back. But yeah, I was able to get all the pieces out of one piece of paper. That's the one nice thing about double-sided paper, because you know the color on the front and the back do coordinate. That's generally what the manufacturers do. But one is usually subtle, and one's not. So here we go. Alright, for the inside of the card, for the print, see it's solid on one side and print on the other. It's the same paper. I used 11 for the bigger one and 10 for the next size down. And I did that because that's this much paper I had left. I didn't have a piece big enough to go any bigger than that. So that kind of determined that here. So I'm going to stamp this here to show you how easy this stamps on. So here's my stamping platform. Move the rest of this stuff out of the way. Now I have a sticky mat on here, so that's why I can go ahead and cut this out first and put this on here. And now I have my birthday message. It says, wishing you a birthday that's just as special as you are. And I'm going to put it here in this wide rounder part down here. Just like that. Pick that up. And let's get this stamped. That over just a little bit. Alright, press down. Give it time to transfer. And I'm going to do it one more time. Here we go. And it being a quick dry ink, we are good to go. So let's put this to the side. Let's bring in our mat. So let's glue this down. So this will go in the center here. And I just got a smudge on there, but that's all right. And this will just go on the inside. Alright, because I said it kind of quickly, so let's go over this again of what I used. So 1 and 2, the two smallest dies, were the 5 embellishments we put down the side. And then I used the 3rd and 4th die out to make the birthday wishes. I used the 9th die out of the 12 to cut this one out. Oop, let me keep it in frame. This is die number 9. And then on the inside, I used 10 and 11. And I was able to cut all that out of one 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing because we will have more cards next week. And until next time, stay crafty.